Why don't men just leave when they are unhappy?
Oh,
Why
that's
don't
the
men
easy.
just leave when they're unhappy? I do have a couple things to play real quick and something to read.
No prenup.
I got this right here. Why don't men just leave when they are unhappy? It's honestly weird. We are usually unhappy because of the treatment of the partner. We don't leave because when we commit to a relationship, it's real for us. And somewhere deep down inside, we feel that if we stick through the bad treatment, the good will come. The partner, I can't see that. Partner will change. Um, this is somebody else commenting to it. We be trying, y'all don't listen. Only when women are unhappy is the relationship truly in jeopardy. And then we had honestly, they do or even attempt to, but instead, women convince them and beg them to stay. Then they're so shocked when he starts cheating, when he has said multiple times he doesn't want to be with you. I also have the
Yeah.
script play as well.
Feel something is unhealthy, to bounce. And don't think because things are hard that that's your excuse to leave. Relationship is about choice. It's about whoever is involved making the choice to be there, and you have to choose that every day. So if it's a choice that you can't afford to make anymore, then it's just time to go. It doesn't matter what the standing of the relationship is. If you can't actually, with a good heart and good conscience, choose to be in that relationship, or you think the other person is not choosing to be in that relationship according to the agreement of the relationship, then it's time to go. If not, then y'all need to rework those terms and continue choosing each other.
Ace, cut that so I can just send that.
All right, there we go. Why don't men just leave when they are unhappy? Let's go ahead and talk about it, fellas. Go ahead and go.
Children, probably the children. I could think one of them is the children, man. We know that if we leave and the projection of their children's success in life is
Gonna
tremendously
go in the toilet.
plateaus. Hmm?
They're gonna end up going to prison if we leave. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the
So
babies.
Yeah.
yeah, I did a very detailed short on this. All right. So women keep saying, like, women are going to have a rebuttal. They're going to say, oh, but he starts cheating. Men don't leave because we are more practical and more logical. Let me say it like this. If I thought about leaving my wife because she got terrible in bed all of a sudden, and this lasted for 2 years straight, then I'd say, all right, this is getting on my nerves. The immediate thought I would have after that is, if I'm going to leave her, what happens to my children? Children without fathers usually end up doing bad in school. They usually end up with serious behavioral issues and mental health issues. So what I'm actually doing is saying that my happiness and or my sex drive is equal to giving my kids behavioral and mental health issues. Men will logically think about that for 1 second and say, no, it's not equal. When you put anything up against that, it's not equal. I'm not leaving. And here are other reasons why men actually don't leave. Men are actually more loyal than women. Every single stat proves that. Men are actually more loyal than women. We are actually stronger than you mentally. We have the fortitude to withstand more, which is why women should get married and lean on us for our logic and practicality. Men are also obsessed with winning. We get around other men who have won, who have done things right the first time. If you leave and you don't do things right, you do the one thing I think no man really wants to do, and that's damage your credibility. Nobody wants to take a class from the person that failed. If you leave, you damage your credibility in all kinds of ways. You can't tell your child. This is the problem I believe a lot of single mothers are having. How the hell you gonna have a baby at 19 and tell your daughter she need to close her legs? Mommy, you failed that class. She don't have to listen to you. That's exactly how she looks at it. So a man being logical will say, I need to keep my credibility in order to be able to do things out in this world and have people take me seriously. I believe that's how most men think. I yield the floor.
Can't yield the floor after sucking all the oxygen out the room, man. Killer Mike hit on all my points. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Number one,
Oh, really?
1000%. You ain't see my reactions. Rewind the tape. We are more loyal. And because we're ultra competitive, we don't want to lose, though. I heard what you said, out the gate. I know people that didn't have kids and they stayed in a relationship or marriage. Men stayed in the marriage that was, he probably shouldn't have been with her to begin with, right? Like, we can always look at that and analyze that. But he was loyal, number one, and brothers don't want to lose. We hate losing. Men hate losing, right? So when you have that divorce on your jacket, it's seen as a failure. Whereas I don't know how women look at it. I'm real curious to know how women look at it. But for brothers, it ain't like we run around like I'm divorced father of, whoopty whoopty woo. Like brothers don't do that. But women be quick. Hot girl summer, ain't vacation or hot girl, trip or whatever, right? Men don't do that, man. We value family. I'm just saying for the brothers in my circle in particular too. We value family, we value winning, and we value loyalty, man. And let me say this part about loyalty too, because the moment women demonstrate to us that they aren't loyal, that's a hard hurdle to come back from, man. You can't get over that. Once we identify you and we identify you as like somebody that's not loyal to us, cancel Christmas. It's over with.
All right. Go ahead, King Midas.
Oh, go ahead.
King Midas still here? I ain't even.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Who was that coming off the mic?
I was just saying that it's a song that says cheaper to keep her, right? So, I mean, he may not go, he'll stay because he knows that his resources will be reduced, right? He may stay if he's unhappy because he knows that the road ahead to having to rebuild what he had already accomplished will be an issue, right? He also, as I agree with Rilla, he may not go because he don't. When a man has decided to marry a woman, in my opinion, in my estimation, he feels like he's made one of the greatest decisions of his life. Because men don't be wanting to necessarily be married, but then when they choose to be married, they're saying this woman is the one above all the other ones that wanted me or that were in the fray, if you will. And so if I have now have to say that I have to admit defeat because now we are getting a divorce or I am going to lose this relationship, I would say that's the reason why there was a couple of reasons why they would stay, even though they're unhappy, right? They don't want to lose either way, whether it's their legacy or their pride. I would say that.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Lego.
We stay because we value family. Women don't value family. They don't value anything. They just care about little stupid shit that children care about, which is how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So
you can't expect me to take you seriously.
They don't look at the bigger picture of anything. And that's the reason why it's important for us men to stay. Because if we don't stay, our children are going to suffer. So we look at our children as the sufferers of our wives. So think about this. If we can't stand a damn woman, right, and we have the ability to leave, if we do leave, guess who's stuck there dealing with this damn woman? Because if we can't stand her, our children can't stand her ass either. A lot of times, us fathers are the buffers between the mother and the child's mental and emotional well-being. Imagine a woman that's doing the majority of everything on her own. She is cantankerous. She's frustrated. She's short-sighted. She's short-tempered. She's abusive. She's the most terrible person on the planet, especially to a child. So when it comes to us as men, we stay simply because we feel sorry for our children. We have a responsibility to not ruin our children or contribute to ruin our children's lives. That's the reason why we stay. So for any man who is sitting there like, yo, I can't stand this damn woman, you got to look at your kids can't stand this damn woman either. So you need to either leave with the children and figure that out or stay. In most cases, you ain't gonna be able to leave with the children because of the way the laws are. So we stay because we feel sorry for these damn children who will be forced to be stuck with this damn woman.
All right, so just real quick to piggyback off what you said, you are the GOAT because you had a bunch of college-educated men on the panel talk about what the hell does cantankerous mean. I'm sitting over here like, God, that's a new one.
I know what cantankerous mean, and I just put it in the back chat. He been watching. No, don't be impressed. He been watching Boondocks.
How you gonna say I yield the floor, then you don't know what cantankerous mean?
He was watching.
I'm one of those people
he playing Lego
that will
playing,
admit
man.
when I don't know something. Y'all ninjas didn't know.
No, that's really,
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I
Argumentative.
yield the floor. I need to say that. I yield the floor.
Contentious, argumentative. You know, that's a Bardo, Mr. Let Go. You know how many men out there say I stayed for the kids?
Absolutely.
1,000.
You know how many men wait till their
1,000.
son turn 18 and say, you know, I stayed for you, man.
1,000.
I stayed for you.
Because women are children. If you leave her, she's stuck with a tall child.
I did 10 years.
The young boys will respect you more if you wait till they're 18 and then say, hey, look, I stayed for you, but I got to go. They probably respect you more.
No.
Because now that they're 18, they can get the hell out too.
I mean,
because
they
don't.
It depends on what the household
the
was
children
like.
are able to get out also.
I would assume that an 18-year-old is able to be like, okay, I know dad had to deal with a lot of shit, and the fact that he was willing to stay with mom until I was, had the right upbringing, and he guided me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it just depends because if the mother and the father were at each other's
we don't like the
throats
damn
all
woman.
day.
Wait, hold on, Bruiser. Here's my question. If we identify, well, let's say this, other coaches identify young men entering into manhood usually around 12 or 13, right? What's the difference for him seeing what mama does? He can see what mama does at 13.
Some of them people, he says
Experience.
But what mama does with her husband and what mama does without her husband is a big difference.
Listen, I'm speaking from, because you hit on something, Let Go. So, always, for me, my people, this is another reason why I ain't been in these spaces so much, because I like to use myself as a real life experience. I've talked about being in the situation for 10 years that I wasn't supposed to be in, right? And the mother of my children, I was married to that woman for 10 years, right? And you exactly right, bro. That's why I talked about loyalty. I stayed down for 10 years in a situation
like
that
prison,
really,
right?
You said what?
She was like prison. You stayed down for 10 years. That's the way you said it.
It kind of was, but the highlight of the day was like seeing my seeds, right?
Yeah,
like,
if them kids wasn't there, if them kids wasn't there, really,
I'd have been gone. I'd have been
gone.
I'd have been gone, bro.
See, we men have integrity.
Men are more loyal.
But that's what I'm saying, because now I have to deal with the aftermath. So to your point, Bruiser, I took the high road. I didn't defame this woman. I didn't I don't talk bad about her, even on these panels. I don't talk bad about her, right? And there's a lot that I could say. However, when I talk to my seeds now, and they're older, they understood at 13, 12, 10 years old, because they tell me these things. So I don't think it takes for them to get to 18 to understand it. They understand it at 12. When you was 5 years old, 7 years old, and a fight was happening in the house, you knew who was in the right and who was in the wrong, who was doing the yelling, who was calm. You knew what was going on.
Well, it's not so much. It's not
but
so much waiting
not
until
all of them ain't like that. Some parents shield that stuff, and the kids are blindsided by the divorce.
Yeah,
after
I agree.
But it's also not the contentious stuff that we're talking about. Losing access to a parent, losing the efficiency in your home is also a big deal for school-age children. If one parent not there, activities are getting missed. All that stuff is getting missed. Homework not getting checked.
Risk.
So
but it's not so much of them not being able to understand until they reach 18. I'm saying it's very noble of the father who wants to decide to leave when the kid is 7 years old, but says, hey, look, I'm gonna just go ahead and knock out these 11 years and make sure this kid get into college, and then I'll be on my way.
But then the house is cantankerous and nobody likes one another, and the kids are listening to you argue every day.
But at least the children have
not all the
somebody
time,
that goes to
but a lot of the
yeah.
time.
No, and I know that we don't talk about absolute, so and it's not because I am a product, ladies and gentlemen, ladies in the chat and gentlemen on the stage. I am a product that at age 16 when 17, I'm sorry, my father walked out there it was right at the mailbox, right next to the car. He said, "I stayed for you." And I had no idea. I was like, what do you mean stay? What the hell? What are y'all breaking up? Now they didn't break up.
Yeah.
They ended up rocking for the next 30 plus 40 years until my father died in 2021. But at the time they was splitting up. And my father was like 48, my mom was like 42, and I'm like this 16-year-old kid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I ain't never heard y'all argue. I ain't never heard y'all fight about nothing. It was just routine. My childhood was wonderful. And the whole time, and now when me and my mom talk about it, they say, "Oh yeah, we didn't let you see none of that. You didn't. If we heard you coming downstairs, everything was shut down, and we looked like everything was a happy home." So sometimes it is a toxic house, and the kids is watching mom and dad fight, and mom is unhappy, but dad is just still staying there. And sometimes dad is dying inside, quietly dying, and just dealing and just sucking it up and just dealing with this woman that he would leave any other circumstance other than the fact his kids is in the room down the hall. And if it wasn't for them kids, he'd be gone. But because they're there, he just like, oh, I'm gonna just grin and bear it. But the moment I don't have to, I am out of here.
So my question is then, why doesn't the man take his kids?
Oh man, that's a whole nother subject.
So then y'all gonna cower out?
No, like, you gotta go through family court.
Let me answer the question. Because it happened with me. I wanted the kids to stay, right? We had a conversation. She started whining about, I don't know what I'll do without the kids and this and that, whatever, right? I was like, all right, cool. So because she literally listened to me, followed me during the divorce, trusted me. We didn't go through a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and we was okay. So since she cooperated, even during, the craziest part of our lives, I cooperated with her. But I did micromanage everything as she lived. We lived separately, and the micromanaging actually came to the point where I help facilitate her finding a new husband. So with my situation, I actually made sure everything was managed properly until I put this woman in the hands of another man that is trustworthy to help all of us put this whole thing back together. And to this day, my ex-wife is still married.
Miss Lego was like, I need somebody else to.
Oh yeah, I was like, all right, we gotta find you somebody else, because you ain't finna be no single mom out here. No, we need to find somebody else to manage your life, because your ass ain't finna be out here ruining my damn kids by yourself.
You mean to tell me that woman let you do that?
What are you talking about?
Most of these women ain't allowing you to.
I don't get with most of these women. I always say, the woman I'm with, just like what Ali was saying, some 200,000 followers. You get with me, you're going to sit your ass down and you're going to listen. Period. Even during a divorce. Period.
All right, so can we answer my question? Why not take the kids? It doesn't change what I'm asking.
I think the notion that women
you're saying you're staying. That's not what I was going to ask. You're staying because of the kids. Then why not just take your kids?
So let me say this. Let me say this. Wait. Let me say this. Let me answer that. Let me say this. I think Texas is the most, and recently the most father-friendly state.
It is.
My kids
got a cap on child support at $2,000 $2,000 cap.
2,500.
Oh, is it 2,500?
This is why Chris Brown, the mother of his
filed on his girl before she can get to California.
Right. She was trying to get to Cali. Okay. So let me say this. Let me answer your question. It's similar to when you listen to lead attorney talk about this. A lot of men resonate with this. You got brothers that have spent up to $30,000, $30,000, $50,000. I don't know what I think Bernard Riley spent $30,000 to $50,000 fighting for his seeds. Right. And
one of my boys on the panel spent $80K.
Still come out with losing situations. here's the deal. Let me say mine. For me in Georgia, it's most of these states, especially in the South, are woman and child states. Okay. And I had a social worker tell me that directly because I was explaining something to her and she said, Mr. Woods, you're right. If it was this way, that way, blah, 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 it would have been, but Georgia is a woman and child state. So it's already in the favor of the mother. The mother has the resources of the state, and she already has the advantage of being the parent. What is it? The tender child doctrine or something like that, where it's assumed that the mother is providing the significant care for the child in their formative years, right? So
they're taking away vouchers now.
And so, but here's the thing. Enough fathers, including myself, have seen more than enough men go and try and fight the court system, whether they have a lawyer and an attorney, or whether they, come to court and they show up as, hey, I make this amount and I do this and I do that and blah, blah, blah. It's even the same with the celebrities who say, hey, I make X amount of dollars and I can provide this, that, and the third. Who do they often give custody of the child to? It's not a matter of fathers not willing to fight. It's a matter of fathers doing cost benefit analysis and saying, what are my odds of winning or losing in this court system that's already rigged against me?
Probability versus possibility.
Well, I think people need to go read the law because I'm looking at father's right in Georgia, and that's some information that they need to go look at.
And so I would say, because there are laws that have been changed. Mine was 2012. So if there's something that's changed, I guarantee you it's been recent. And what you're seeing is what we're talking about. So now we're talking about fathers in the last 3 years, 5 years, especially when these conversations are coming up. And this has been an ongoing conversation. Maybe it shifts now, 3 to 5 years. Maybe you can shift that conversation.
Historically,
correct. In 2012, let me tell you something. I was born in 74. If my dad wanted to contest and fight for me, he would have had in 74. It would have been a hard road for him.
It's still a hard road for the day, bro. It's still a hard road today. And the lawyer's going. The reason why a lot of these men ain't fighting, and I listen to the lead attorney too, brother. He's a good dude. The reason why these men ain't fighting, the lawyers that they retain is telling them, hey, look, you're not gonna win this. You better off fighting for visitation. Because and then you got some of these dads that want to go and represent themselves. Oh man.
Because they keep hearing the stories of how some fathers are able to do that by themselves.
Yeah, and the lawyer, and you know what the lead attorney said? If I find a man that come in the courtroom that wants to represent himself, he said attorneys love that.
They're gonna eat him up
because they're gonna destroy him. He been an attorney for 20 years in family law. There's no way you're gonna win.
But that's lead as a private attorney. Do you know that when they show up in court, and especially if they file for child support, they have a state-appointed attorney for free? You see what I'm saying? The whole thing is incentivized. But again, go ahead, carry on, guys.
No, it's interesting that you were saying that in terms of the father-friendly states. I just looked it up, and it's most of the states in the Northeast and several in the Midwest are actually very father-friendly, and they give it a ranking and a score. So it's really interesting because I never even thought about that. I thought the question was interesting that Humble Dad asked, because the notion that women are just giving up the rights to their kids is so funny to me, because that's not like a thing. I know that more men are winning custody, but women aren't just like, you know what, you can take the kids, it's fine, no problem. A lot of them are genuinely like, if I'll just speak from my own experience, as I'm going through my situation now, my ex made it very clear that she would never give me full custody. You know what I mean? She just made it very clear that would never happen.
Did she say why?
Did she say why, you said?
Yeah.
Because she's their mother.
What about
that was
joint
genuinely
custody?
her reason.
What about joint custody?
Joint.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, no, that's what we're doing because I said I would never like not have joint custody of my kids. That's not gonna happen.
Midas, what
What state are you in?
And I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
And we're very kind of like, you know, towards it's number 12 in terms of father friendly. And I've already looked up all the laws and you know what I mean and everything. So I feel pretty confident in that. So I'm not concerned about that aspect of it as much, but you know,
She's not going to challenge you on joint custody though, right?
You said, would she challenge me? You said?
Did she plan to challenge you?
No.
Okay, you good to go then.
Well,
Yeah.
So you're saying that
what's your
because
understanding of what
you're saying
joint
because
custody is, though, Bruiser? I'm sorry, humble dad. Just really quick, Bruiser. What is your understanding of what joint custody is? Because for me in Georgia, joint custody, that you're just talking visits. I think most people think it as visitation or split time between houses. They have a primary custodial parent who makes the final decision for the child, period. And that outweighs everything.
No, but joint, if you got 50-50 custody and you actually document every time it was your time to pick up a child, what you could do is you could have the police come in there and write a form up on timestamp if she don't follow through with it.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
That's not how it works in every country.
Because that's visitation. What I'm talking about, when you have what we understand, because even with my situation, I went in there thinking the same thing, right? When I got there, it was no. There's going to be somebody designated as the primary
care provider.
Right, custodial parent, because if something happens to the child, somebody has to be able to. So I'll give you an example. I can't primarily determine what school my kids go to. Okay.
Yeah. So in Maryland, that's a joint decision.
I can't determine the doctor, right? But I have visitation. I have visitation. Right. That's on paper. That's on the book.
Yeah.
So the 50-50, what we think about it as men is we need to really understand the law, and it may be different in Maryland, brother Mike.
Yeah.
So go ahead, my bad, bro.
No, I was just saying, so in Maryland it is different. It's generally split down the middle.
Yeah.
Because if the kids are spending half the time, literally 50% of the time with both parents, then it's split down the middle. And if we decide between ourselves, you know, how we can make the decisions in different situations or whatever, we just write that out ahead of time. But neither one, like nobody can move out of the state and take the kids, because that's considered kidnapping in Maryland anyway. And we have to agree on everything. And I've been the one who's been in charge of all of the things in terms of where the kids go to school, that like all of that. So
but for her to give you custody, she would literally have to sign it off. She would have to sign it over. Or she would have to be deemed on drugs or alcohol and incapacitated or whatever.
Right, exactly. And so,
I know that the best interest of the child. It says the best interest of the child in Maryland, right? And so the best interest in your situation is saying is with the mother?
No.
Just with him.
The best interest
of the child to be with a damn mother ever.
She's an amazing mother.
What I'm saying, the law that I'm reading, what I'm reading on the site is saying that it's the best decision for the child.
You got to read through it, bro. You got to read through it. It don't work like that.
He's just asking
okay, well, it is the writing is going to say it's the best interest of the child.
Right.
But the best interest of the child is always the father, regardless of the writing.
Well, no, that's theoretical. So here's the thing. And this is, I think Lead said this. So the writing and as the law is written, oftentimes in the wording, it's the best interest of the child. Even the one that he read, that he posted in the back chat for Georgia, right? I just read the whole thing. And that right there is giving all love to the women. But that's speaking particularly about not a father who's not married to a woman who had a child. So so in that one, it was giving all love to the mother. In fact, he was saying if men don't, that the article that Humble Dad just posted was saying if men don't go to court soon, and there's no particular time, there's no written time that a man has to do it. It's up to the court to whenever that all 100% rights are going to go to the mother. That's in Georgia. Now, as far as a married couple in Georgia, and likewise where you are, it's saying the best interest of the child. So who makes that determination? It's the judges.